another video that was inspired by a conversation that I had with one of my clients. I'm not going to say what her name is, but I actually just asked her permission if I can tell about the scenario because, excuse me, as we were talking, I said something and I was like, oh my God, you're a genius, Jen. Yeah. If you didn't get the memo, there it is. So basically what happened was my client, along with many of my clients, they prepare their own food. And they can socialize and they go out to family members' houses and stuff like that. And they're able to go and celebrate people's birthday parties, but they either eat before or most of the time they don't bring their own food. They just eat before and then they follow in my philosophies where I say you don't need food to celebrate things. Most of the time, if you're eating super clean and then you go and you have bad food, you'll actually end up not really enjoying the moment because you'll have a stomach ache, you'll be gassy, the next day you'll not feel well, you'll work out, all that jazz. So basically what happened was she brought her food. She actually ate her food before going into a party. And she was with family members. Why do I do air quotes? And it's so funny because she's the one that jokes around with me about how I put air quotes on everything. But it really was her family, so it doesn't require any air quotes. But it was her family. And basically what happened was they're all sitting around and they're eating food that was at this party that happened to be Chinese food, which is... even if you order steamed Chinese food, which I used to do, I am totally guilty of that, it's still steamed in salt water. They still put salt in the water that they steam it in. So the amount of sodium, and then it's not necessarily the greatest chicken. Or whatever. Vegetables are probably fine, but whatever. The point is that they were sitting around and eating and she wasn't. And somebody made a comment to her about why isn't she eating? And she said, oh, I ate already. I'm not really hungry. So then they started to continue going into it. So now I like regurgitating information. She actually asked me for advice because this wasn't the first party that she had gone to that people started making a big deal about it. So she had said, what do you do when people do that? And I reminded her about an old video that I did where I talk about having a subject changer. There I go with air quotes again. Having a game plan before you walk in with people that you know for a fact, or maybe don't know, are going to not be supportive of your journey or going to make a comment about it. So I said, you need to have a subject changer, and everybody loves talking about themselves. So either have gossip, because everybody loves gossip. I'm not going to make a comment about it. I'm air quoting everything. So I said, either ask them something about themselves, it's really hard to you don't know who it is and you're at this party with a bunch of people and you have to think of a subject changer for each and every person. But you do your best, whether it's gossip that you know about, which is terrible, but whatever, or something new about you, or asking about, oh my God, you never told me about what happened with that job or what happened with that guy. And oh my God, are you still seeing that guy or girl or whatever? And then, boom, hopefully the subject gets changed because they want to talk about themselves, because everybody wants to. They want to hear that people want to know about them. Now, she basically said that she had her subject changers. She even didn't necessarily have a subject changer about the specific person, but she tried to change the subject and ask them about them. And they kept going back to it. One of them actually said, oh my God, you're making me feel guilty for eating this food. Now, I'm going to say this, and this comes from personal experience with me and stuff that I've talked about in old videos, where I say nobody can make you feel anything. Like, 1 million people can line up and tell me that they don't like the way that I look, but nobody can make me feel bad about the way that I look. I have to accept responsibility for it. The way somebody acts towards me, if somebody rolls their eyes at me or whatever, they're not making me feel anything. I am making myself feel a certain way because I'm either feeling self-conscious or had a bad day or whatever. So they were projecting on her and they were throwing it on her and they were trying to intimidate her, and that was a word that she used. And they were trying to make her feel good for making them, they are saying, you're making me feel bad for eating this. When deep down inside, they know that what they're doing is not right, or not healthy. They refuse to leave alone the fact that she just doesn't want to eat like that, and it doesn't really, like, I've gone to so many parties and I have not eaten any of the food there, and I can blame it on my stomach condition, and people don't make a very big deal about it, because I can literally say I have Crohn's disease, I'll be in the hospital. Not all of my clients can say that, but all of my clients can truly say my stomach is more sensitive to things now. And, you know, if I eat something not so great, I will immediately, and literally her husband flashed on them after a couple times of them constantly bringing it up. He finally said, dude, she'll be sick. The next day she'll wake up. She won't be able to close her hands. And I'm not going to even say what her job is, but she needs her hands and her arms and all that other stuff, and standing up all day, and her feet and her ankles and all that jazz. So, like, basically what they were doing is they were trying to make her feel uncomfortable so that she can give in and eat bad food so they can feel better about themselves. And a lot of times that's what it is. A lot of times when somebody is, and I just recently did a video talking about other people and making comments, and it's really how they feel about themselves. So, like, my father, I used to say that my father used to call me stupid, and all my life, and it was really because my father thought that about himself. Now, on the other hand, there's like two different versions of it. There's this one. So there's this person trying to make you feel bad about yourself, about eating clean, and they're trying to make you justify things. And what's the big deal if you just eat it once? It's just one chip. I've heard that a million times. Like, exactly, it's just one chip. What's the big deal? I don't want it. Why can't you just leave it alone? And it is sad, and I posted this video on Instagram and on Facebook, but I didn't make a video about it. But I had a woman that basically, and there's fat shaming and there's fit shaming. So this woman came up to me, and I'll tell you guys the story because I didn't tell you. But this woman came up to me and she's like, oh my God, are you a bodybuilder? And I'm like, yeah, I hate even calling myself that. And she's like, oh my God, I want to have arms like you, but not like that. Like, that's too much. And I really had to, like, contain myself. And I was like, I like my eyebrows raised and my mouth opened. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I kind of walked away from her. I smiled and walked away. I didn't even say thank you because, like, or maybe I did. I don't even remember. But then I thought, and this is what I posted in the video, but then I thought, if I was to turn around, damn, I just missed my exit. If I was to turn around and say, oh, well, yeah, I actually, you know, I'm trying to put on weight, but not like that, because that's too much, because she was a heavier woman. I would never do that. I would never make a comment like that, make a face like that, never do, like, somebody could say, and I've had people on the phone with me do phone interviews and say, I want to have toned arms. I say this with all due respect, but I don't necessarily want to be as muscular as you, but I do want to get toned arms. I want to have more muscle. I very much respect that. That was very nice of you to say in a very nice way. But again, there's like so much of fit shaming out there. And I talk about this particular post from this woman that I'm friends with that is also an IFBB pro, and her husband, Wendy Fortino, and her husband posted about people that fit shame, and people that, and I said this in the video, and people that claim to be supportive, family members that claim to be supportive. And I'm beating a dead horse with this subject because it is so sad. The amount of people that are trying to get in shape nowadays, because America is super obese and people are trying to change their lives, but not everybody is, air quotes, there yet. Not everybody is mentally ready for it. Like, I don't ever say anything or try to get somebody to convince themselves that they need to lose weight, because they do need to be mentally ready. And, you know, if somebody is mentally ready, like if one of my clients is mentally ready, she joins the program, and then she has another friend of hers that's not ready for it. And this is what this guy Matt, his post said. And his post said is that, you know, friends and family members, they claim to be supportive because subconsciously or consciously, in the back of their mind, they're only supportive because they're waiting for you to fail. In the back of their mind, they're hoping that you do fail so that they can be there to say, I told you so. I told you this wasn't going to work. I told you shouldn't have hired a trainer. I told you that you're not going to lose weight, whatever. But then as soon as they realize that you're actually seeing results, now they're trying to get you to fail by making comments to you. Oh my God, you're losing your ass. Did you want to do that? I thought you like having an ass. Ooh, I just said a bad word. Or making comments like, why do you need to hire a trainer? Why can't you do it by yourself? Because there's a reason that people become personal trainers. I can maybe look up on the internet how to change my motor in my car, and a step-by-step YouTube video, but I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna hire a professional. I don't fix my own cars, I have somebody else fix it for me. That's why people look for help. And it's not even just the science of it and, you know, the education of the training and the quality cardio and the nutrition. It's the emotional support and the coping skills and all that other stuff that I teach people about. This kind of went off a little bit more, but again, I feel like people need to be beat a dead horse. Yes, beating this stuff into them. And I feel like every client needs to constantly be reminded that you need to not allow negativity in your life. You need to shut that ish down. And if a family member is making comments, you need to either put your foot down, like my husband's client, like my client's husband put his foot down, and I know why she didn't, and it's because it was his family. So I wouldn't necessarily flash on my husband's family. Maybe I would. But that's what we need to do. We need to stand up for ourselves. We need to put our foot down. I had another client that literally said, she's very quiet and shy, and, she has this friend that has been, kind of always bullying in a little bit of a way. I've had friends like that, and I'm not friends with them anymore. And people talk about how I have this bitche personality, and sometimes I'm very intimidating, and sometimes I come across as a whatever. But what most people don't understand is every characteristic of myself has come from something that I've gone through in the past. Some of you don't know this, but I was bullied. Badly bullied when I was a kid. And in the third, fourth, and fifth grade, I had my next door neighbor that was friends with me. He would play with me whenever we were home, and then he would get all the girls to bully me. I went to Catholic school. I had my Catholic teacher bully me. She would actually smack me with rulers and stab me in the head with pens, and he would make fun of me and she would laugh at it. I swear this happened. And then I would tell jokes and everybody would make fun of me. I would come to school with a joke because my cousin Michael used to always have all these funny little jokes, and I would go to school with a joke, and then everybody would be like, that's so not funny. And then my next door neighbor would go tell the joke and everybody would start laughing. Literally this happened. They would make me stand up against a wall and they would line up and play dodgeball on me. So I am the way that I am because of what I went through. I refuse to have people walk all over me. And if I come across as an itch sometimes, then so be it. But I come to people, and my demeanor and my way about me is the way that it is because of what I've been through, because of what I've survived. And it's not easier said than done, because it took a lot of work for me to get the negativity out of my life. There's somebody that I used to be friends with 10 years ago before I moved here, and I'm not friends with that person anymore because the relationship was kind of one-sided, I feel like. I'm about to run